everybody. Welcome. I'm Sophia Parola with the Garden State Film Festival, and here with me are the people behind the making of the short film Ensuite. We have the co-writer, co-producer, and the lead actress of the film, Lainey Ventura. Hello, Lainey. And
Hi,
the pleasure
Sophia.
of having the director of Ensuite, Geoffrey Cantor. Guys, thank you for joining me
Hi,
today.
of course.
It's our pleasure.
So before we get started with all the questions I have, I would love for you both to introduce yourselves, tell us a little bit about yourself, and tell us a little bit about Ensuite. Whoever
Lainey, you
wants
start,
to.
of course.
Okay, I'll start. I'm Lainey Ventura. I've been an actress for longer than I will ever care to admit. And Ensuite came about as was inspired by some real life events that I went through, a health crisis, and decided to kind of it just sort of an idea popped in my head about when I was healing, about wouldn't it be cool to see a couple in their relationship over the course of about a year, and it all takes place in the bathroom. And I just thought it was a really neat place to sort of show um, all their moments, their happy moments, the fights, the sadness, the flirtation, the sexy stuff, all of it. And I thought it'd be really cool. And I brought it to my then creative partner, and she liked it, so we started working on it. And originally, it wasn't meant to be a breast cancer movie. It was going to acknowledge the fact that the wife had had breast cancer as part of their journey. But when we brought it to Geoffrey to direct, Geoffrey had been coaching me for some time, and we knew that we wanted him to direct it. He said, I really think you have more of a story to tell here, and I think we can really make this into an amazing film if you're willing to, run the course and make some changes. So we collaborated together, and we ended up with what I think is really, he was right. And it was a little hard for me because I never wanted to be the poster child for breast cancer. And here I am, the poster child for breast cancer. But I think it really made a huge difference, and it was not only cathartic and for me to run this course, but it just turned out to be such an incredible experience. And I think we have such a beautiful and special film, and we're all really, really proud of it, and really proud to be at this festival. This is just amazing.
I love hearing that, Lainey. Thank you for sharing not only now here, but obviously in this film and being vulnerable, because that's what the beauty of film is. I love when people share
What
their
it's all
story.
about.
I love that. Jeffrey, tell me about yourself and how you
So,
your interest in the project.
I've been an actor longer than Lainey cares to remember, and uh, was at drama school in London and came back and actually was a social worker for a brief period of time, and um, that has actually informed some of the things that I find important about the art form itself. But I'm an actor primarily, mostly film and TV now. And when Lainey approached me at first, it was also with the thought maybe I'd be an actor in it. And I was actually I found somebody who was better than me to be in it. Rob Bogue is way better than I would have been in this movie. But when she approached me, she sort of described, there's this nugget, this one little scene. There was a bunch of scenes, and there was one scene where where breast cancer comes up, and as she so beautifully articulated, like that for me, all of a sudden we have a real story. As opposed to, it was funny and charming. It was like it could be like a web series. It could be really fun, and all of a sudden we had something of real depth. And we did work on it a lot, and we found silences where there were words, and we found moments that were really complex, and we took out sort of the idea of telling people what they were watching and letting them just observe something. And I was really thrilled that Lainey trusted me, and she and Rob, I think, are just amazing on screen together. I think that, and we shot it very quickly. We shot it kind of like a stage play in a way. When people see it, they'll see it was shot with one camera that was locked off. And so in a way, you're looking at a proscenium, but it's a corridor as opposed to something wide. And so you're watching actors. And so we actually, all the scenes played through. We didn't cut ever. So each scene is a oneer. And so for the actors, it was like doing a play.
Mhm.
And I think that it shows up. I think that you see a full, each scene has this full range of work that happens that takes you from the beginning of the scene to the end of the scene without any sort of clever director, let me fix that and edit. And I think it paid tremendous dividends. I think we have film that has a unique perspective. I think Lainey's work both as an actress and as a writer, um, I have coached her. I can say without any hesitation, and I don't think she disagreed, by far the best work she's ever done. And because it was a personal story. And I think another thing I'll say about Lainey is I think it's very hard when you're really close to something to be able to still do it, right? I was talking to a director the other day who was directing a film, and he hired an actor who was the guy, and it was horrible because he couldn't do it. He was it, but he had no objectivity about it. He couldn't do it. And Lainey really managed to walk a very difficult tightrope of having written it, but also being that person enough. And I think the work shows. And she had, I think, in Rob, an amazing partner, who was a caring, loving scene partner who, when you see the movie, you may have judgments about him, but he leaned completely against it. And we had an amazing team, the whole team, the producers. William Memento is my DP, who I've worked with a number of times, and he, I have to say, and Lainey, I'm sure I told you this, he advocated for us to have safety shots, to do like, can we hold the camera here? Can we hold it? Just so I'm like, no, we're not doing it. And I think it paid off. So this is my narrative directorial debut. It will not be my last. We were already talking about another project together. But I couldn't be prouder. I mean,
We haven't killed each other yet.
Not yet.
We're working on it though.
Yeah, well, actually, there's a death in the next movie.
There
It's
is a death in
hers,
the next
but
movie.
so we're gonna do it in one. It's gonna be a
We're gonna do it
one-er,
in
and it's gonna be the
one,
last scene we shoot. Because
Oh,
I
wow.
have a tendency to like to work with the same people. I work with
Yeah.
my producing partners I've been working with for 10 years. We've done tons of stuff together, and Geoffrey's great. Like I said, he's been coaching me for a very long time. I trust him implicitly. So as a director and as a coach, as a friend, we've gotten very close. So yeah, it's good. And I give him the opportunity to keep directing. So
I love to hear that you guys are making more projects together. I
Yeah,
support that 100%. Geoffrey, you brought up some amazing points, a lot of which I had questions. Lainey, first is, what was it like for you to write something so close and personal, and then, twofold to perform that? Was it easy, freeing? Was it very challenging? What were the emotions you were going
well,
through?
initially, like I said, when we were writing it, we weren't writing it with this in mind. And then when I first sent it to Geoffrey, I said, I have a project I want to run by you. And he said, I said, give me a call when you have a chance. He said, okay. And then I got the text message that said, just send it to me. And I was like, oh God. And then he called me, I think about 24 hours later, and I sort of panicked because I was afraid he was going to say, I'm really not into this. And as we were talking about it, he said, no, conceptually, I really like it. He said he wanted to get a little bit more background. He said, where is all this coming from? And I said, well, you don't know this, because at the time we were friendly, but we were coaching. He didn't know my life at the time. I said, well, a few months ago, I went through bilateral breast cancer and reconstruction surgery and multiple surgeries. And I heard him on the other end go, oh. He said, okay. He goes, now I like it even more, because he liked the fact that it came from such a personal place, because these are the things that are so meaningful in our work, that we can bring our personal tragedies and successes to the screen. So when we started working on it, it was okay. I have a really good ability to separate stuff. As Geoffrey worked as a social worker, so did I. My degree, my graduate degree was social work, and I used to work with rape victims, and I would leave counseling and people would say, how do you do that? Well, I don't know. I'm able to separate stuff very well. So it wasn't, and I was already through it. I mean, I don't know, and I was alive and healthy, and yeah, there were moments, and some of the lines in the film came out of my mouth during the course of my, my whole experience. So there's some of me actually really in there, some stuff from my husband. I think Geoffrey said he threw a couple things from his family in there too. You bring some of your personal stuff in there, but it wasn't, I think the emotional part for me was the fight scene was pretty emotional, because those words were real, how I felt about being cut up and put back together. I still feel that way. At the end, when we wrapped, I just started to cry. Like all of it just kind of came out. You know, you prepare and you do your stuff and you do your acting, and then all of a sudden, you know, it's done and it's such a release. But I like this process, and I like being able. I write essays also. My anniversaries are coming up soon, so I tend to every year write an essay about where I'm at in the process, about anything, you know. It just kind of comes to me. I don't really think about it. It's just all of a sudden it just sort of lands in my head, and I have to put it down. And that's, I think I'm more gifted writing essays, to be honest. The whole screenwriting thing is kind of new to me, so trying to work on that as well. But yeah, so I hope
I
that
think
answers
you're
your question.
great. You
I'm kind of
absolutely did.
long-winded.
No, I loved every single word. I didn't want to cut anything off because I mean, who am I to say this? But I do want to say I'm sorry for what you went through. But it really is beautiful that not only, you know, did you write something that'll help so many other people, but I'm sure it helped yourself too. And it's great to see you now, just looking great and feeling great and
Thank
making art out of what you've been through. I
thank
love
you.
that.
It's important to me
Geoffrey,
too.
as director, you mentioned, you know, you're in one shot. You kind of it's all a one take, one shot, and kind of like a play. So, what went into your directing? What was really important for you to portray as a director in this specific film?
Well, so the choice to do it, there were a lot of things that went into the decision, but the real one was that it's a metaphor, right? So the bathroom is her private sanctum, and then the bedroom is her and her husband, and then the rest of the house that you don't see. And so it's like, I know they said this in Shrek, but it's the layers of an onion, right? And so for me, the metaphor of the bathroom, but you see into the other room and you hear the rest of the house was her, right? So that's her. And I felt, you know, this, it was so simple. And what it also did was it forced all of us to focus on the moment to moment of each scene. It didn't allow, like I was not distracted by the technical aspects of, let's do this two shot. We got to get the cover. I didn't have to worry about that.
Right.
We could focus on, and as an act, my approach to acting is also my approach to coaching, and my approach to directing is the text is all important, and getting to the truth and the meat and the moment to moment of the text. And what that did was, in a very short period of time, because there were these other distractions, the focus was on the text. And it allowed me to share with the actors together and separately my thoughts about it. And they, you know, took it and ran and created stuff that would not happen if we're cutting and pasting. Like, there's a naturalistic movement to each scene that you would not get if you're cutting it up. And so it served many purposes, right? It made us super efficient. We were super efficient. We shot it in a day and a half. You know, nobody shoots films, and I'm sorry, they just don't. You know, they do
Yeah.
TikTok videos in a day and a half.
Especially 12-minute film, yeah.
Yeah, but I had, I mean, Lainey can tell you, the minute we sort of agreed to what the film was going to be, I was done with that. I said, this is what we're doing. This is how we're going to do it. This is how we're going to tell your story. This is how we're going to let the audience understand the layers of who you are and what your life is. And then, you know, without giving it away, the very end of the movie was, again, something that was not in the script, but that felt so obvious to me about how to end this movie. And again, I don't want to share.
I love that. Yeah, so that was
thing.
something that you guys decided during filming, the end of the.
Brought that.
Yeah, I don't. Again, we don't want to say what it is.
We don't need to. But just for me, I know.
I had it. I remember saying, and William, I thought, executed it brilliantly. Like, he crushed it. And for me, it wraps the whole thing up. And so I was very thoughtful about it.
I love that.
And Lainey was completely on board. Like, Lainey didn't say no. The only person who said no really was William. Like even Steve and Roy were like, okay, do what you want to do. But my DP was like nervous as heck. He was like, what are we going to do if they're like, we're gonna not make mistakes? And they didn't. I mean, that's the other thing. Like, there are no mistakes, so you don't have to match stuff. So there's no mistakes. Like we did it until I felt comfortable within the time frame that we were given. And I'm very, very happy with the performances, and especially seeing it on a bigger screen. Like, you know, I watch it on a computer, you know, this this big, you
Right.
know,
Such a difference.
and I get it. Like, believe me, I've seen this movie a lot of times, and when I finally got to see it on a big screen, it's like, oh, I
So
was righter than I thought. Like, I
yeah,
was
you're
really
making the
proud
audience like
because
a
they're,
fly on the wall, observing everything in real
yeah.
time. It really is. It's beautiful.
And also I was nervous because you see on a small screen some of the shots they seem really tiny, but
Mm-hmm.
you see it on a big screen, they're still fully there,
Mm-hmm.
and they're just different frames for them, which are her frames of reference. And so that was what went into
Wow.
the
I
decision
love
to
it.
shoot it with one
It's funny
camera.
that you say that because when we our world premiere was in LA and we were on a huge screen. The sound was like the whole surround sound. It was like a real top thing theater. And I was there with one of our co-producers who's LA based, who's also a breast cancer survivor.
Was
I've seen
that was the Newport?
That was Newport Beach,
Uh,
yeah. And I've seen this movie a million times too. And there are times I was like, oh, and watching it, the two of us looked at each other at one point, we were crying. I mean, it is such a different experience. And we have to remember that as filmmakers, that you cannot get stuck watching. We watch everything on our phones now and on our computers. And it needs to
Mhm.
be like stories. This particular story really needs to be told on a big screen because you suddenly become part of their world, and it's really.
Yes.
And I have to say, Geoffrey's talking about the ending, and we're not talking about what it is, but you know that's the whole collaboration, and that's one of the reasons I choose to work with Geoffrey again. Is we don't always see eye to eye on everything, and we fought a few times on things, but we discuss it. We tell me your reason, and then we try to come to a happy medium. But he
and then she
collaborates
lets me,
really, really well.
do what I want.
No, I don't. We there are things you choose your battles. But there were things, he was constantly in it, and that's what I love about him as a director, and that's why I'm choosing to work with him again, because it's never just, okay, I'll show up and direct. It was every day a text message. You know what I was thinking about this scene? I was thinking about, I think we need another scene in here. Can you guys write something here? I'm have an idea for this. Like, he's always 100% in it. And that's what more can you ask for, that somebody else is as committed to your project as you are?
I
So
mean, the job of, I mean, the way I see the job of a director is once the script is in your hands, it's in a way it's your script that, like, you have to. I don't mean, you know what I mean? Like you cannot treat it as though it's something else.
right.
You are now vested in. Otherwise, why are you doing it? Right? And so nothing I was doing had to do with this is what I want because it's for me. It's like
Mhm.
I see the story.
Right.
You've
How
written the
can you
story. I
elevate
see this.
the
I
story?
believe that I can. I think I even said this to Lainey. I said, I think I know the story that you're trying to tell better than you do. Well, that's why when we, and like that I saw
Hard
something,
fight.
I saw something profound in it that you hadn't seen until we started talking about it.
Mhm.
For
Well, that is true. Yeah.
and it was in service to her and what she was writing. It wasn't about me. It was
Mhm.
in service to what I saw as the kernel of value in what she had created. And it was my job, whether we're fighting about it or agreeing about it, it's my job to express my commitment to the service of that script and that story. That's my only job as a director.
Mhm.
It's not
Absolutely.
about look at me. It's about this.
Yeah.
This is what you're showing me. This is how I think I can best tell your story,
Mhm.
and that's my job. And I know sometimes, and Lenny can attest to this, and I think this is true of a lot of directors. Sometimes it comes off as like it's their ego, and I tell you, the best directors, that's not what it's about. They may be very adamant about an idea or a conceit or a concept or a point of view, but the goal ultimately is to tell the story that the text is telling them. That's why you hire directors. That's their job. And it takes a lot to surrender to a director that power.
Mhm.
That's a lot of power. But that's why you have to pick the people around you well. And then it's true
Absolutely.
of actors too, right? You need to pick generous actors who are not there for themselves, but are there to serve the story. The only thing that matters is the story.
I love that. Geoffrey, so I'm sorry, I could talk to you guys all day because I love what you guys are saying, and there's so much depth and beauty in what you're saying, but I do have to wrap this up. So before we do, I would love to ask you guys how it feels to have Ensuite screening at the Garden State Film Festival, and what are you hoping audiences take away from watching this beautiful, beautiful film?
Well, I can tell
We're
you,
both Jersey people.
we're both, yeah. I mean, well, yeah. For the most part, we both live in New Jersey. So it's our New Jersey premiere, which we're thrilled. I'm so excited for this festival. I actually met one of the members of the festival in Newport, and that's how we ended up sort of, submitting our film. We were very excited, and the fact that it's happening during the 20th anniversary is so
Yes, huge year.
spectacular. We are so excited. We have friends coming, we have family coming, and we know other people. I have a few friends that are actually, I think I have 3 other friends that have films that are showing in the festival. So that's very exciting. I'm looking forward to the whole event. We're really just thrilled. And there's a nomination on the table too. So that's very exciting.
Oh, what are you guys nominated for? Do you know? I should know this.
Best actress.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
Lainey, you?
Oh, that's exciting. Yeah.
That
we're
is
very
so
excited.
exciting. I'm so sorry that I didn't do enough homework before this. Usually I will know the nominations, but
Oh, that's okay. That's okay.
congratulations,
So,
Lainey. That's huge, and you
yes,
deserve
so
that
we're going to be
100%,
staying on
especially.
we're going to make a whole weekend out of it, and really look, and it's just really exciting to be, it's really fun to be around other people who are doing what you're doing, and
Absolutely,
networking,
yes.
meeting people. And I've been to a few festivals with the film so far, and we're just meeting such wonderful people. So it's great. We're really excited.
I'm so
Really.
happy, and I love to hear you guys are Jersey. I love my Jersey filmmakers. I love all filmmakers, but most
The
especially the
Jersey
Jersey
Shore, I
ones.
mean, growing up, the Jersey Shore, I mean, Asbury Park was like, that's where I would go. Asbury
Yes.
Park, Belmar, Point Pleasant,
Uh,
Seaside. So it's like to be able to go to a film festival down there,
Mhm.
and eat fried food, which is very exciting.
Funnel cake.
Oh my, well, I'm so happy that I had the chance to like talk to you guys about this, and it makes the film that much more beautiful and more impactful knowing that, it was so close to you guys and how much effort you guys put into it. It's a beautiful collaboration. I'm so excited for you guys to make more projects, and I hope you continue to submit
I
to the
hope
Garden
so
State Film
too.
Festival.
That's
Thank
our
you so
plan. Thank
much.
you so much,
Thank
Sophia.
you
We're
guys. Let me tell
thank you.
everyone watching how they can see On Suite. You can access all the films virtual. You can go on gsff.org to get an all virtual pass. But if you want to see it in person on the big screen, which we explained why that is so important, especially for On Suite, check it out at Berkeley Hotel in the Kingsley Ballroom, Sunday, March 27th in the film block, 2:45 to 4:45 p.m. So we'll see you there. Let's all put our hands together for Lainey. Hope she gets the win. And congratulations to you both. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank
Sophia.
you.
Thank you.